Call to order the Kearney R-1 Board of Education meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Charlene Bailey.
Here.
Brian Ham.
Here.
Dan Holloway.
Here.
John Kern.
Here.
Bree Schweitzer. Susan Mormon.
Here.
Mark Kelly.
Here. Quorum being present, entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move that the agenda be approved as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. There is no public comment tonight. Next, we have recognitions. We have a full house this evening. Thank you all for coming. First, we have Leslie Brennan from Hawthorne Elementary, Compassion in Action.
Oh, sorry.
My name is Lauren Malone. I'm the principal of Hawthorne Elementary, and with me tonight is Mrs. Brennan. Mrs. Brennan is a third grade teacher in our building who not only does a phenomenal job teaching third grade academics, but also teaches her students about compassion and empathy, which is where Compassion in Action was born. Mrs. Brennan is the perfect example of how one person's impact can extend beyond the four walls of her classroom. So I'm excited for Mrs. Brennan to be able to tell you about that tonight, along with our students who are here from Compassion in Action.
I started this 2 years ago to help spread kindness and compassion so the student can start doing it by habit and with a good purpose. I was born deaf, and when I was growing up, I was made fun of a lot, and I was bullied a lot. So I always promised myself as a teacher that I would help these kids understand other people that have a disability. They need that understanding and that empathy, and to know that it's just hard sometimes, and we're all together in it. We're all fighting a battle, and so we all need each other for support, and that's what I try to instill in my students. Gabe and Bryce, they pass out the bucket fillers. We call it the bucket filler. It's supposed to fill your heart and make you smile a little. And I know all of you smile. So thank you, Gabe and Bryce, for that. These two are fifth graders. I started Compassion in Action 2 years ago with these guys. We have over 25 students that does Compassion in Action. They would like to share some things with you.
Hey everybody, I am going to be saying, in early October we met early in the morning before school to make posters and little cards that said things like, "You are awesome," and "Have a great day," when we went outside right before the rest of the students came in so we could greet them with kind smiles. We cheered how happy we were that they came to school, and we passed out cards. We helped all the students and staff to smile.
We met one day after school in late October to research for some good inspirational quotes so we could read them on the November announcement. We said a quote like, "No one is perfect. That's why pencils have erasers." We reminded them that it's okay to make mistakes. We learn and grow.
In December, we adopted a family to help someone in need. We met after school to wrap all of the presents we got. We sat by the fire listening to holiday music. We also talked about the magic of giving. It felt so good to help someone who may be struggling.
In February, we will be making inspirational quotes on heart. Then we will be spreading love all around town. We never know who is fighting a battle, so what a great way to put a smile on that person's face.
Thank you for letting us share with you how we spread compassion and kindness. We hope we made you smile with the bucket fillers we made for you. Have a great evening and Merry Christmas.
Can we ask questions too?
Pardon me?
Can we ask questions too?
Certainly.
Where did the name of the group Compassion in Action come from?
My sister and I were trying to think of a name. There's a teacher in Florida. She does kindness blog. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I asked her if I can borrow her idea. And of course she said yes. So my sister and I came up with Compassion in Action.
I love it.
We wanted to get that compassion, you know, how sometimes we all talk. We want to make it in action.
I love it. Thank you.
Henry West? We have a certificate for you.
Thank you.
Logan Stanberry? Price? One of you over here. Come over. One on each side. Let's back up a little bit, guys. Back up a bit so we have the big K. Everybody turn their certificate around the other way.
Yep. Good.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. Great. Let's let the parents get the pictures.
Everybody done? Great. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Next we have boys state swim.
Come on up here. Still have some blonde hair.
So I want to start out by thanking you guys for taking the time to recognize these gentlemen's hard work, and it was a great season. We did awesome at conference, and we went on to do awesome at state. So with only 7 guys competing, we finished 6th overall out of 41 teams in the state, which is awesome. And each one of these gentlemen aided in that with their swim. So I'm just going to go through, introduce each one, and then talk about what they did at the state meet. So first we have Ridge McBride. Ridge finished 6th in the 200 freestyle and 6th in the 100 freestyle. Then we have Peter Moore. Peter finished 15th in the 100 backstroke. Braden Tonks was a part of our 400 freestyle relay, which finished 29th. Lane, his first state meet ever, by the way, finished 30th in the 100 backstroke. Who is this? Jake was a part of the 400 freestyle relay as well, which finished 29th. Adam finished 3rd in the 50 free and 5th in the 100 fly. And then we have Scott, who finished 3rd in the 500 free and 13th in the breaststroke. We also had 2 relays finish 7th, our 200 medley relay consisted of Scott, Adam, Ridge, and Peter. They finished 7th, and then our 200 freestyle relay with Scott, Adam, Ridge, and Lane finished 7th as well. So I couldn't be more proud of them. Jeff Haley was also a part of our team. He couldn't make it tonight, but he came with us as an alternate. So basically what that means is he was ready to step up and swim for any of these gentlemen if something happened. So.
Somebody, I think it might have been you, Rich, like knocked off serious time in one of the events. Which one was it?
Yes.
203.
Yeah, I saw, how much time did you knock off?
I can't remember.
Like six seconds?
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Well,
Awesome.
and every, like, in our
You guys are
individual
brilliant.
events, we walked away with personal bests all around. So
You guys did phenomenal.
doing that once at conference and then 2 weeks later at state, it was awesome.
Very, very cool.
So Lane? Scott? Jack? Peter? What did you just? All right, you guys, you have to all turn them up so you can see Coach. Be in there too. You're gonna have to back up. So we got the big K in the back there. We got to scrunch together a little bit.
Lane, you're in the front.
Yeah, work together. Work together. Shooting this way.
I'm getting proud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get Lane.
You guys, there's no short one. I'd have to fix it. All right, there we go. All right, everybody see the camera?
Yes, I see everybody. Okay, awesome. Okay, good.
Parents, hold on before you go anywhere. Congratulations. Next, we have girls state cross country. Coach Robert.
So, first of all, we had great senior leadership. We had Floyd Bonham, Shelley Singleton, and Abby Smith as senior leaders this year. I think a couple things pretty neat. Number one, we have a girls team that all 7 girls are returning. Out of the 4 teams that placed in trophy, we're the only school bringing back all 7 girls to run. It's pretty cool. We had 3 all-staters, and Alex Kinsler, she became the 2nd fastest girl in Kearney history. We've had some state champion and some other great kids, but she's the 2nd fastest girl ever. Abby Elam was all-state for her 2nd time, and then Heidi Adams was all-state for her 1st time. So we had 3 all-state girls all coming back. The other thing I think that's most important to me, of the 7 girls that ran, all 7 have a GPA above 3.6, and all 7 made the academic all-state cross-country team. So I can wait this summer to start again. Thank you guys for everything.
Thank you. Great work. So we have certificates. Heidi. Gracie's not here.
Nope, she's a basketball.
What we want? What we get? Bella? Alex? line up for a picture. Scoot back a little bit, we gotta have the K in the background.
Whoa.
You're gonna have to go to this side. The girls all kind of scrunch together. Coach, come over here for them to see you. Scoot in just a little bit. There we go. How's that? Yep. All right. Great. Okay. Parents? Congratulations, great work. Appreciate all you coming. We'd love it if you guys stick around. It's not necessary for you to hang out with us.
Now's your time to dig.
There we go.
And nobody wants to stay. I don't know, it's so exciting. We have everybody sit. He has to sit back there, he'll stay.
Some of the roads at the downtown airport. Yeah. Said some of the roads at the downtown airport just came off.
Say, why don't you guys move as far forward as you can so we don't have to yell so much. You can hear us.
You guys all want to move to the front?
Right.
If you want. That way we don't have, you can hear us better.
Sure, why not? Plenty of room here now.
Next, we have consent agenda. Entertain a motion.
I move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Informational items, we have financials. Ms. Elsie, anything you think we need to know about? What's our current reserves? Which is the lowest where we will be at any time of the year, because taxes start coming in right after the first. Anyone else have any questions, comments? No, thank you. COVID update?
Obviously, we had our meeting Monday night, so you know about the revision to the return to learn plan. Ryan is pulling up our dashboard just to take a look at it. We've last week we really got slammed pretty hard. You can see in the graph there on the lower right hand side. Yellow, we had over 100 quarantines, somewhere around 41 or so positive cases, and now we're trending down, which is a good thing. Going in the right direction. So if you go to page 2, no, wait a minute, sorry. Let's go back. Yeah, I want you to take a look at the schools that are being most impacted. Dogwood and Southview seem to have a bulk of our cases of quarantine at this point. So now go to the back and you'll see the vaccination and the masking that has prevented quarantines and kept our kiddos in school. So the reason why I want to ask you a question based upon our conversation on Monday night and the revisions that you know that we made and going forward. Do you want the district to be more pronounced in vaccine advertisements, or I know some of surrounding school vaccination clinics? Is that something I'm not necessarily advocating, but I just want to make sure that I ask the question of you to see what your expectation might be.
Those districts think it makes a difference?
That's a great question. I know Liberty and Park Hill had, each had a clinic. You might know better than I, Jeff, with your conversations with Clay County.
They're just pushing out information. They've set up some clinics, just like we had one for the staff last year, to receive their vaccination. So,
Sorry, I didn't mean to chime in. I just think clinics are a great option, it's a great opportunity. It's just, and I say this wholeheartedly, it's just like people donating blood. Some people are there, it's available, it's convenient, and that sort of thing. If they want to make that choice, they'll do it to help people, and those people who want to make that choice. You get that close availability without taking time out of the parents' work, without doing all those things. It's available, and if they make that choice, they can have it done here.
Yeah, I mean, we want to do whatever we can to mitigate the spread of the virus. And we're changing our requirements for masks. If we can do anything, I mean, if it works, do it once, see how it goes. I don't see any downside to that. It would be my thought, whatever type of mitigation.
Well, what I'm thinking, what I've seen other districts do is basically you would provide the facility. It would be either Clay County or a pharmacy that would essentially run it. And then of course through Pete's Jar or other means, we would make the information available to our family. So that's something that we'll have a conversation with Clay County about and see what emerges from it and keep you informed and go from there.
All right. I just have a question about that. Are most the other districts that you've heard of doing it, are they doing it in evenings, weekends, during the day? How are they doing it?
I know Park Hills was over the weekend. It was on a Saturday. And I can't remember when Liberty's was. Do I know?
Okay. Just curious. That makes sense to me to do it at that time.
Yeah. Very good. Snow days. So, I've been communicating with you that this obviously been a challenging year for everyone in the system, also parents, community members, and the like. And with the advent of inclement weather, albeit it's 74 degrees outside, maybe that's the wind, maybe that's the wind speed, I'm not quite sure, but we don't think about snow and that sort of thing. So we were looking for a way in which we could accommodate staff members to show them an appreciation for some of the hard work that they've done over the past year and a half, 2 years. At the same time, we were working administratively about our snow day protocol. And if you'll remember, in most recent history, snow days have been referred to as AMI. And the letters there stand for Alternative Method of Instruction. So even though we had a snow day, we still had class, if you will. Kids teaching, teachers learning, and the like. The assessment of that medium to reach our students and to have an effective classroom experience on that day has been less than appropriate. We find it better to have in-person instruction, obviously, with all of our work to have that with the masking and the like. So it's my recommendation to you that should we have snow days, I would suggest that the first 3, that we would not have AMI, that we would treat them as, if you will, the good old days. They're just snow days. And our staff wouldn't necessarily work on those days unless, of course, they're part of Dr. Morrison's crew of making sure that we're safe and, we can have people in our buildings appropriately and the like. But give back in some ways. Now, beyond that, we have to evaluate what we're doing because it might get into contractual calendar issues and the like, which obviously those would come back to you for any sort of change or modification. So at this point, what we're just saying is that we would not utilize AMI for the first 3 snow days should we have snow at some point in our future.
About wind days?
Wednesdays might, no roof on your building days, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Great. Very good. Next we have
student achievement data. Ms. Cobb?
Okay, well, we were pretty darn happy with our results this year, and it wouldn't even be right to present this without saying how much we appreciate the work that our teachers did this year. They went above and beyond, and I know it was a lot of extra work on the teachers last year with pandemic, and they went above and beyond to make sure they were doing what was best for kids. In addition, we know we had a lot of parents with our hybrid schedule last year. We had a lot of parents who had to step up and help a lot of kids through stuff. So we thank the parents, and of course, our kids are awesome. We knew that, right? Okay. Uh-oh, Ryan. I'm not going. Okay. Just to recap, we do compare ourselves against our peer group, and as you can see, our peer group is a tough group. We got Blue Springs, Excelsior, Green Valley, Independence, Lee Summit, Liberty, North Kansas City, Park Hill, Platte County, Raytown, and Smithville. The board goal is to be in the top 25% or the top 3 of the peer group on all state assessments. So we'll start with the district overall ELA. So ELA test in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, as well as English 2. We are in that top 25%, being 3rd in our peer group.
Historical data from these, by the way, I mean, from year over year, are we still in the same percentages, Jennifer, or are they drastically down? Pre-COVID is what I'm asking. You know,
well, it depends on the test. We have some tests that we really hung right about where we were, and I'll address that. That was particularly true at the junior high,
okay.
Where we saw a lot of districts drop, but they really held steady. So, I mean, it just, honestly, our elementary held pretty steady. So, I mean.
I would figure that our hybrid model at the high school would be where we were hurt the most.
Yes.
Would be my second.
Yes.
I just didn't want to make that jump. So if you, when you go through it, if you can kind of give me some historical like on that, I would really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Our social studies, the only test we have is our high school government. We were 4th in our peer group. We're in the process now of digging into the item analysis data and see, you know, checking where we can improve. The teachers are working on that right now. Super proud of this score. Math, we test 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. Kearney is #1 in the peer district. And I will tell you, when you beat Blue Springs in math, you've done something big. I mean, they have a lot more resources than we have. They have math coaches all over the place. They've got, you know, one of the top consultants in the country goes in and actually works with them in person. We go to some of his conferences, but he goes in and works with them. So this is an awesome achievement.
Great math teachers.
Yes, we do. Science, we are also #1 in our peer group in science. The areas tested there are 5th grade, 8th grade, and biology 1. So statewide, the way we rank, what you will see on some of these scores, that even though we are not where we want to be in our peer group, we are still very high in the state. So the top 5% in the state, we have our 5th and 8th grade ELA, our 5th, 6th, 7th grade math, our 8th grade science, and our biology, all ranking in the top 5%. In 2019, we had 4 areas in the top 5%, and now we have 7. Top 10%, In 2019, we had 9 overall, and now we have 14 overall. Our areas that we did not score as well as we would like, we still are in the top 20%. The lowest we have is still in the top 20% in the state. So even our scores that we see as a concern that we're gonna work on, it's not like they are bad scores, it's just not at the level we want them at right now.
And is the game still played on 8th grade math, where some people bump people up, the more talented into algebra, or?
I'm actually going to address that
I'll stop.
here in a minute.
Yeah.
Our ACT, we did drop a little bit on that to 22.4
What was it
overall.
before?
22.7.
Okay.
As you know, our goal for our ACT is based on our 4-year college-bound graduates. We want our kids to be 5 points above the national average. Clearly, this year we have dropped it. We're at 22.6, not where we want to be. Honestly, our ACT Academy has been a great addition to the district, and with pandemic, we really could not run that ACT Academy like we have in the past. They tried to do it after school some, but then you run into school activities. We are back on track this year. We also would like to bring in the trainers that we used initially back 8 or 9 years ago. We brought a company in to train our teachers on the ACT. We're planning on bringing them back and working with all of our core area teachers so they can really embed that type of prep into all the core areas. So for our MAP ELA, so MAP is 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. On our 3rd grade ELA, we did fall, we're at 5th in our peer group. Being 5th was really, it came down to 3 different classrooms really brought our overall score down. The teachers, the reading interventionists, they were very aware of those areas and they were addressed. Those have already been remedied for this year, so that should not look like that next year. Our 4th grade ELA, 3rd in our peer group, and our 5th grade ELA is number 1 in our peer group. And if you compare those cohorts, that 5th grade back when the last time they took it, because we didn't test the year before, but when they were 3rd graders, they were still strong. They were 2nd in their peer group, but in 5th grade, they bumped up to number 1 in their peer group. 6th and 7th grade ELA, again, not where we want it. We're already, Mr. Woods is working on a plan to start incorporating more ELA time into the day. These kids go from, K-5 and they have a 90-minute reading block, they have a writing block, and then they go into middle school and suddenly they're cut to like 40, 45 minutes of time for all of that. So gonna work something into the schedule to give them more time, because quite honestly, that is just not enough time to address all of that. Our 8th grade ELA is very strong at 2nd in the peer group. Again, our math is, that's 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th for math data. Our 3rd grade is 3rd in the peer group, is strong. 4th grade did awesome, number 1 in our peer group, and 5th grade, number 2 in the peer group. All very strong scores. And once again, our middle school math, they are all-stars, both of them number 1 in the peer group. That's kind of been a trend for our middle school math. They're just incredibly strong. I wanted to kind of take it through a progression. Some of you that were on the board before, you might remember that 8th grade math, it used to be a real issue for us. As you can see, it was falling below the state average back in 2017. Again in 2018, below the state average. And then in 2019, they really bumped their score up. And then, Ryan, if you want. Now, this year, they are #1 in their peer group for 8th grade math. That is such an incredible improvement. And John, to answer your question, yes, people do still play the game of, how many you're going to have in 8th grade math or how many you're going to have in algebra. But you'll see that our kids, it didn't matter whether they were in Math 8 or algebra. We were very strong in both of those areas. We really improved drastically in both of those since 2019.
What do we attribute to the, obviously we identified an issue and then we were working through, was it just curriculum or just being focused on the curriculum? How did you get, this is an achievement, Jennifer, a huge achievement.
Honestly, there's several things. There's a change in personnel, without going into a lot of that. Yes, we changed personnel. I will tell you, we have a consultant, her name is Kathy Battle. She's through the Kansas City RPDC. I would do commercials for that lady. She is incredible. Our teachers love her. They are so receptive to everything. She just has a way about her, and she's been great working with the teachers. Our teachers have worked their tails off. They've really dug into the curriculum. It's a combination of a lot of hard work and yeah.
Congrats.
Our science results, 5th grade science, for math, it's only 5th grade and 8th grade. Science in 5th grade was 2nd in the peer group, and science in 8th grade, an amazing job at #1 in the peer group. EOC results, remembering that is the high school. Now, if you look at our Algebra 1 scores, you will see that in our score right now, in 2019, we're 6th in our peer group. And although we're still 5th in our peer group, you can see how we have really evened that out. And I gotta tell you, if we would not have been on a hybrid schedule with these kids going 2 days a week, I would love to have seen what our junior high would have done with that. You can see they actually raised a little bit, which is unusual. They went from 54.3 to 54.5 with the pandemic. And really, we are right, other than Park Hill on that, we are right up there with them. And again, you don't know who all Park Hill might be testing.
Right.
You can go on, Ryan. Okay, so this is something I wanted you to see. Yes, people do play games with who takes Math 8 and Algebra, but as you can see, both of ours are very strong. Our Math 8 went from being 51.67 in the state up to being, above the top 6% in the state. Algebra 1 went from 30.38 to being 8.19% in the state. So huge achievement for our junior high math people. Our ELA in English 2, again, you can see we are only 6th in our peer group, But again, our peer group is incredibly strong, and we are still, I think it's like the top 8% in the state, even though we're 6th in our peer group. Biology, super strong, 2nd in the peer group. Our Algebra 2 is lower, certainly, than we want. Again, they're still in the top 20% in the state. There were some challenges this past year with Algebra 2 that was really outside of the teacher's control or the students, but that just won't happen again. And American government, again, same with the overall for the district. We're 4th in the peer group. And that's the end of those scores. Any questions?
More of a comment, that's a good congratulations for you and the teachers and the staff and on curriculum to go through a pandemic and still throw up those kind of scores.
Huge.
That's
It's
so I'm proud to be a
fantastic.
Bulldog.
You can't say enough good things about it.
That's right.
Yeah,
We
I tell you
applaud
what,
you.
our teachers, they were stressed a lot last year and they just kept trucking through. So super proud of them and super appreciative to them.
And then you and the teachers especially put in all the hard work, all the kids. That's just great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know you would also, certainly our students did a great job. When you only have your kids going 2 days a week, your parents also did a great job.
Yeah,
as well.
amen.
Yes, parents are awesome, right? Yes. Yeah, I mean, they can work. Yeah, so it's, you talk about a team, first year you had it, so congratulations. First year, fantastic. Not by choice, but, yeah, they're a bunch of first-year teachers, but not by choice.
Next we have parents as teachers. Ms. Wilmus.
Just want me to stand here or go to the podium?
Whatever you're.
Whatever, or we can move the podium in the middle if you, that would make you more
I can just
comfortable.
stand here, it's fine, I don't need to be behind it, it's okay. It's very simple and sweet, I promise. As you know, I'm new to this program, so been in this about 6 months, so I'm still digging through and trying to learn Kearney's parents as teachers and getting feedback from families and our staff. So I feel like I've got some good information here to share with you. So just a reminder, this is a voluntary parent education program, and it's offered through all local school districts, so it's required in Missouri for everybody to operate. We're serving families that are prenatal up to kindergarten entry, and the biggest thing is we want to have a positive partnership with our families, and we play a very vital role in supporting these families and the children. The biggest thing is we want to encourage parents, they're the first teachers, and so we want to give them that support and what they need. The other thing is I want to be sure that everybody knows and remembers that our parent educators could possibly be the first contact with the family moving to Kearney and getting to know the school district. So I think that makes a huge important for us too. The other thing is, currently we've got about 206 families that are enrolled in our program. And that doesn't mean that's what we've served, but currently active. But as of today, we've actually screened about 43 kids. And so I think that plays a huge part for us. We had a big screening today, so, and once our screening was done, we actually identified maybe 4 children that are going to need further services. So that's a big piece for us this year. And we currently just have 4 parent educators besides myself. I've got some pictures here. We have group meetings of family events, and so these are just a few pictures we've had. They sent me the one of the little girl, you know, covering her dad with the whipped cream or shaving cream, and I just chuckled. I got a good laugh out of that one. That's Messy Night, and so they have, that's a big one, Messy Mania, which is huge. We've got Brittany up here in the corner, one of our parent educators. She's been very creative. Some of our families have stayed virtual, and some are going, hey, can we move these outside? And so I love how they have gone and met families' needs. So this is just some examples of things we've done. Our Messy Night was hosted outside at Kearney Elementary, and we did host PJ Night here in the boardroom. So those have been some things. We tried to space out and make sure we're keeping people safe, so that's huge. So you can go ahead. So here are some of our strengths as of right now. I feel like there's tons, but these are just a few that I wanted to share. Our experienced and qualified staff. We have amazing 4 parent educators, and their heart and passion for our families is huge. They have a wonderful rapport with these families. I've gotten so much feedback from emails or a quick little text message if they got my number and they're saying they did an amazing job, tell me thanks, you know, they really made me, gave me resources today, and so that's huge. The other thing is we want to provide children in the community a yearly screening to help detect delays. And again, today I think we found 4 more, so be prepared, Heather. All right, so some of our program opportunities. We're going to organize and host an annual advisory committee board meeting. That is one of our compliances that we're required to offer, and I will just give you a quick update on that. We hosted our first one yesterday, and I had 6 people attend, so a very great feedback too. How do we advertise our program and get more marketing out there? So it was good to hear, have good new eyes and new information. Enhance our community partnership with local child care programs to help promote the PUT program in the community. I think this is an area that we've just kind of not been able to strengthen because of COVID, and we've kind of just gotten really weak on that. And so we have already set a goal on how we're going to do this, starting after our first year, going out and talking to the child care programs and just getting reconnected with them. And then hiring additional qualified parent educators to serve more families. We have families calling, maybe 2 to 3 families a week, and now we're starting to get a wait list. And so I know COVID kind of put a damper on some new families coming, but the families are coming back. And so like I said at the beginning, I said, you know, 209, but that's growing very quickly. So some of the goals that we're going to work on, again, we want to complete an annual survey with all our families enrolled and parents as teachers and get their feedback. That's huge. That information then will go to our advisory committee so we can sit and review the information and have some good feedback from the team. And then organize and host an advisory committee. Like I said, we just did that. Now we just need to host it twice a year. Enhance our community partnership with the local child care programs, of course. And then our other ones, we want to review and research opportunities to recruit qualified parent educators. We've done some research like around our other districts to see what they're doing, how they're recruiting, and what that looks like. So that's good information for us. And then we want to be able to hire additionally 2 more parent educators.
Have you had some struggles with hiring enough people and everything like everybody has?
Right, and the actual full report that I did for you guys, I shared that we had 7 parent educators at one time, and then they kind of dwindled down, and we're trying to rebuild. Kearney's huge. There are more families to recruit. We just got to get the word out there, what we're here for, how we can support them. And I know as soon as we start doing that, the parent educators are going to be needed. And so finding, it's a hard schedule because we provide evenings and weekends and day visits. And so we got to find the right individuals that fit our window. And so that's probably our hard piece, and making sure they understand what's required of them when they come into the position. We just posted the position back out. It had been out there a while. We decided to take it off, give it a break, clean it up a little bit, and put it back out. So as of today, I haven't had any true applications, but I have had some phone calls. Wanted to know more about it. So I think it's there. We just got to find them. They're there. We'll find them. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Program.
Yeah.
Entertain a motion.
Move to approve program evaluation parents as teachers as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Next we have Program of Studies, Dr. Gustafson.
So I'm going to pull out my inner Tracy Carnes here. You guys received this last week, I believe, in your board packet. Here's a summary of changes that we have up there that we put in this year. Mostly just correlates with what we talked about last month with our move to the tiered system with diploma and then moving the market value asset. So we did add about 7 courses, I do believe, just to have different electives for our kids, so elective opportunities. So with that, if you have any questions, specifics, I'll be glad to answer.
Seeing no question. Thank you.
Move to approve the program of studies as presented.
Second.
Now you can vote. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously by everyone here. Next we have approval of bond resolution. Looking at that. Mr. Goff. Todd, want to talk to us about this?
Well, good evening, good to see you all. For your consideration tonight is a resolution that would call for a bond election in April. As a reminder, that would require a 4/7 voter majority for approval in April, which is 57.14%, so it's the same as what you've been accustomed to in the past. We've looked at the analysis for the debt service fund, or what Ginger may refer to sometimes as Fund 3, and believe that by continuing on the current debt levy, that's 1.1902, that by continuing that, along with some very conservative growth projections in the assessed valuation, that the up to $44 million could be issued, amortized with no levy increase. And then as a reminder, we have those bonds currently structured to be repaid in a very short 14 or 15 years. Most districts, looking at those peer districts on the test scores, most of those districts are doing their bond issues over 20 years. And historically, Kearney's tried to use a shorter amortization schedule. There's various reasons that kind of go into that. But over time, that has proven to be a very effective strategy of regenerating that debt capacity. And then also, just like with our own homes, if you can do a 15-year mortgage or a 20-year mortgage, you're going to save a whole lot of interest costs versus a 30-year mortgage. So the same concept applies on school district bonds. Filing deadline is January 25th. And so you would need to approve the resolution to call the election and have that filed with the county prior to the evening on January 25th. So I'll just pause there and see what questions you might have.
I'm just going to piggyback a little bit on what you've said. I mean, this is the work of the Long Range Planning Facilities Committee, and what that committee had decided is the important items to be addressed with the district. Most importantly is an additional elementary school, likely on the west side, south of the town. There are other items that are identified in the resolution. As Todd has said, this is a $44 million bond proposal. That is both the extent of our ability to do it without a tax levy increase. There will be no additional tax levy percentage. Ironically, it's also the extent of our bonding ability. Now, when we did the last bond, when we added to the high school and other improvements that we did around the district, we held some money back in anticipation, from a bond capacity standpoint, in anticipation of doing just what we are here. The need to add a new additional elementary school. Because we had issues with boundaries, and we still have some overpopulation in those elementary schools. At this point, we are where we believe, even though it will be exhausting our bond capacity, we think we're in good shape if we accomplish this. The other part that goes along with it is, and Todd is, with his advice, he anticipates that the district will be able to gain $5 million in bond capacity each year based upon our growth of assessed valuation and what's available to us. So even 5 years down the road, we would have the capacity to do a $25 million bond at that point. We don't foresee it, not with our growth. We've had nice, steady growth. It's not out of control. We're not putting up trailers. We have the opportunity to build an elementary and make the other elementary schools have similar equitable space, maker spaces that we anticipate with our new elementary. So all of those things are what are taken into consideration with this. And I think we are being good stewards of the district's money. We have needs that have to be met. We have to have capacity for elementary. We have good capacity at all of our other schools at each level. We are improving on the performing arts at the high school. We've done some of that, but it is starting to get a little fatigued. And so to further add to that and to do some work on facility maintenance that would be coming out of our budget otherwise. So that's where we are, and that's what we're looking at. If anything else?
Well, I also think that the reason that from our long-term facility planning meeting, I mean, this started a year ago, or close to a year ago, when we had our first meeting. And so this is not just we just want to build a new building. This is about kids. And at elementary school, it is scientific fact that kids in smaller class sizes learn at a better rate. And so this just keeps in line with what Kearney likes to do as far as keep those kids' classes in that 25 range or smaller if we can. And so this would keep us on pace to do that with the growth that's coming into Kearney, and allow us to redraw those lines, as well as update some older buildings. That was what I got from the long-term facility planning meeting. And I also want to piggyback Mark on that. The reason why we didn't ask for the full amount on the bond 3 years ago was because it was financially smart to go for a part to take care of the high school, understanding that we knew that we were going to continue to grow and we were going to have capacity issues at the elementary. So from a fiscal standpoint, I felt that, and I believe that it's a very smart process as a school, is to just take what you need, not what you want. And I think that this is a well thought out 9-meeting long-term facility. Was it 9 meetings for the long-term facility planning? Nine conversations about what's right for the schools. So obviously, we gave this a lot of thought and are excited to put it out there.
I think I would only add that we had 9 meetings, but I thought we had great participation.
Yeah.
It was not us, it was teachers and building administrators and some community members, and it was great attendance. People were there all the time, so it was very much a collaborative process.
And they gave great input, don't you think? Darla?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they gave us some good thoughts.
Any other comments? Now, entertain a motion.
Move to approve a resolution calling a special election on the question of issuance of general obligation bonds of reorganized school district R1 Clay County, Kearney, Missouri.
Second?
All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. All members present. Todd, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming up.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your guidance on this.
Thank you
It's
so
an
much.
exciting time. See you, folks. Next, we have approval of board policies on first reading. Do we have questions or comments on those? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve board policies DCB and KKB on first reading as presented.
Second?
All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have approval of superintendent contract. This has been a process. We utilized EGL, and they brought us 7 very capable candidates for our position. We have with us tonight Dr. Emily Miller. If you would stand so everyone can see you. Dr. Miller is the assistant superintendent at the Lee Summit School District, assistant over operations. She has also worked for the Harrisonville School District in special ed. And so, I don't know what else to say.
How exciting, right? How
This is-
exciting. So obviously,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
Are welcome to have you.
I think the exciting part about the process is that every one of them could have done the job, but the best fit for Kearney obviously was Dr. Emily Miller, and how it all came together was that we're obviously excited to have her as well, because she's going to bring some stability to our district that we are excited to have.
I would add, Dr. Miller, and I know you and I haven't had the conversation, I would tell you, we had 7 board members who were very active in this process. All 7 selected you as the #1 candidate.
I'm very excited about becoming a part of the community and listening, partnering with staff and families. So we're very, very excited about the opportunity. Thank you.
John?
I move to approve the superintendent's contract with Dr. Emily Miller to begin in the 2022-2023 school year.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have board member comments.
It's an exciting time to be a Bulldog. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, we've got some really great things happening in our schools. I feel really excited about Dr. Emily Miller. I mean, I think Jennifer gave a great presentation. Our kids that came in today, Becky said it best. We got to have more of these kids in our recognitions. I mean, they just lift your spirits, and that program that they have at Hawthorne is just impeccable. I mean, I'm sitting here holding this whole time, and mine says, "I appreciate you. Have a great day." You know, it made my day.
And it matches your socks.
And they match my socks. So it's even better. So obviously, very, very proud to be a Bulldog today. This was a great representation of what Kearney is and who we are.
Are you blown away, John?
I'm blown away. Blown away, buddy. No pun intended.
Our test scores tonight are phenomenal. Okay, I mean, it's hopefully Dr. Miller sees the resources that we have. And hopefully, we continue to provide that, whatever those resources are. But you can see that our students are top notch. So hopefully, that's a strong invitation for you to come and continue to build on that. I have no doubt that you will.
I would just add, just a plug, we have great students, but we also have great students who go on to do great things. And one of our alums, Kearney alums, will be playing in the Division I women's volleyball Final Four this weekend, Callie Schwarzenbach. So I think that's exciting to report that we have somebody going on to do that. So tomorrow night, 8:30, I think is when they play. So it's pretty exciting.
And they beat Texas.
They beat Texas, yes. No, I talked to Dave this morning. I think they're driving up there tomorrow. So.
Where is it?
It's in Columbus, Ohio.
All right. Important dates. End of semester, half day on December 17th. Tomorrow. Winter break starts December 18th. It runs through January 2nd. December 28th is final day for school board filing from 8 to 5 p.m. that day. January 3rd is professional development day, no students. School resumes on January 4th, and January 26th is our next board meeting. Note that it is a week after our normal. So, entertain a motion.
Action for a closed session to immediately precede the meeting on January 26th, 2022, including any record or vote to discuss items and issues allowable under section 610-021 of the Missouri Sunshine Law.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Darlene Bailey?
Yes.
Brian Ham?
Yes.
Dan Holloway? John Kern?
Yes.
Bree Switzer? Susan Morman?
Yes.
Mark Kelly?
Yes. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.